is just unheard of, and it really sounds the alarm for someone like me who studied journalism in college. Right? It really it scares me.
Can I just look at the same time? Can I just finish what I was saying so that I don't 6,000 Canadians so that I don't lose my thought? The point is,
Stephen A. Smith erupted on live television, folks. The fiery sports commentator known for his unfiltered opinions took the stage on The View and instantly cranked the heat to an unprecedented level for daytime TV. Began as a discussion on political strategy, and the Democratic Party's recent missteps quickly spiraled into a tense and emotional showdown. The heart of the clash? Sunny Hostin, one of the show's most outspoken co-hosts, found herself squarely in Smith's crosshairs. This wasn't just another spirited debate, it was a full-blown battle of perspectives that left viewers riveted and set social media ablaze.
Oh, Trump's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to...
Works began subtly. Invited to discuss American politics and the upcoming election, Stephen A. Smith wasted no time calling out what he saw as the Democratic Party's messaging failures. With his signature passion, he argued they hadn't lost because of Trump, but because they'd forgotten who brought them to the dance. His bold take immediately sparked tension. Sunny Hostin, a staunch progressive, fired back, defending the party's commitment to working families, social safety nets, and equality. That's a message, she countered, frustration in her voice. And it's not something we should dismiss.
So 20 years after they last won a popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted gears. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate.
But Smith didn't back down. He doubled down. He pointed to what he saw as a glaring disconnect between the Democrats' rhetoric and their actions, highlighting the migrant crisis under Biden's administration, with over 12 million people crossing. This, he argued, had strained local resources and created chaos in cities. What happened to the Democrats who stood for the working class? They talk about helping families, but what about the ones struggling because of policies that ignore their needs?
There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. Don't continue to do that. Find a new strategy.
But do you think those groups, the black voters, the Latino voters, and the others that you mentioned, are they going to regret it soon?
Hostin fired back with a passionate defense, arguing that the Democratic Party has always stood for helping those in need. She pointed to the challenges Biden inherited, a divided nation and a global crisis, stating that it's easy to criticize from the sidelines. This administration has had to clean up past messes while still trying to move forward.
He's coming and he wins. You got to find a way to beat him. This way is not the way that the Democrats have been doing it.
Let's talk about how
the tension was undeniable as the debate intensified. Other co-hosts tried to interject, but this was a showdown between two heavyweights. Smith, unwavering, pressed on, pointing to Barack Obama's deportation record, reminding everyone that Obama deported more migrants than Trump. But what didn't Obama do? He asked, leaning forward. He didn't bloviate about it. He got the job done quietly, without turning it into a spectacle. To Smith, that was leadership. We see now, he declared, is policy without purpose.
People are feeling about his performance, because a CNN poll this week found that 52% of people disapprove of Trump's performance in office so far. So even though he may have won the general election by less than 50%, 52% disapprove of what he's doing. We're also seeing Republican voters at town halls opposing his executive overreach, giving Elon Musk the shadow presidency.
Hostin, visibly emotional, defended Biden's approach, stressing that today's challenges demand compassion and humanity. These aren't just statistics, she argued. They're families, children, human beings. We can't reduce them to mere numbers to manage.
Yet you said, quote, Trump is closer to normal than what we're seeing on the left.
Yeah, I was talking about why he won the election.
So?
When I made that statement, I was talking about, that was before the election.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
So when during the election, I said, in the immediate aftermath of the election, I pointed out he was voted for because they considered him closer to normal than what the Democrats were spewing. That was what I said at that particular moment in time. Now, obviously, Elon Musk is an entirely different matter altogether.
Right.
This man is not an elected official. He hasn't been confirmed by the Senate or anything.
But Smith wasn't backing down. Instead, he shifted the discussion to the broader implications of the Democrats' struggles, highlighting Trump's significant gains among minority voters in the last election. He argued that the Democrats are losing ground with black voters, and he's seeing similar trends with Latino and young voters, where Trump's inroads are evident. Smith warned that if the Democrats don't adapt and address what's going wrong, they're poised to lose again. It's as straightforward.
It scared the living daylights out of folks, and the approval ratings, obviously we pay attention to that. But here's the bigger question. Who on the Democratic side are the American people pointing to and saying that's the person?
We'll see.
They don't have anybody yet.
Well, we're
plenty.
6 weeks in with you know who.
National Voice.
Right.
We're 6 weeks in with you
Leader
know who.
Jeffries.
Everybody said let him do what he's doing so we can see what's going on.
Hostin's frustration boiled over as she pushed back, citing systemic issues, voter suppression, and the role of misinformation in shaping public opinion. People face real barriers when trying to make their voices heard. This isn't just about strategy, it's about justice. The back and forth intensified, neither willing to back down. Smith, ever the provocateur, challenged Hostin and the Democratic Party to take a hard look in the mirror. You can't win by doing the same thing over and over again, he said firmly. You need a new strategy, a new message, and a leader who can make people believe again. Right now, I don't see that happening. What made this exchange so riveting was the raw emotion on display. Hostin, deeply invested in her beliefs, fought back tears as she defended the Democratic Party's principles. Smith, unflinching, delivered his critiques with the precision of a seasoned debater. More than just a clash of ideologies, this was personal, a reflection of what's at stake in the upcoming election and the deep convictions of both sides.
I thought what she also said, in disagreeing with Stephen A. Smith, thankfully, is that the current president, does not have a mandate. He does not. And I'm glad that she made that clear to our viewers. I've said it, Joy has said it.
The audience, both in the studio and online, was sharply divided. Some applauded Smith for speaking hard truths, while others rallied behind Hostin, praising her unwavering defense of compassion and justice. Social media exploded with reactions, memes, and hot takes as viewers dissected every word and gesture from the fiery exchange. As the debate wound down, the tension in the room remained electric. Smith delivered a final warning to the Democratic Party. You've got to stop making excuses and start delivering results. Because if you don't, the guy in the Oval Office right now is going to steamroll you, and you won't even see it coming. Hostin, still visibly emotional, responded with a call for unity and hope. We can't give up this fight, she said, her voice steady, because this isn't just about politics. It's about people, and we owe it to them to keep pushing for a better future. It was a moment that perfectly captured the intensity of today's political discourse. The clash between Stephen A. Smith and Sunny Hostin wasn't just another debate. It was a reflection of America itself, a nation wrestling with questions of identity, leadership, and the road ahead.
You know, not only has Trump emboldened people to run for the highest office of the land, he's actually surrounded himself with incompetency. So that is scary to me. And people that are loyal, that will just do whatever he says and go along with the program, not only in his cabinet, but in Congress. So I'm sort of, you know.
As the show cut to commercial, the tension lingered, thick and unresolved. For viewers, the conversation was far from over. The fiery exchange had ignited a storm of opinions, guaranteeing the debate would rage on long after the cameras stopped rolling. What would come next for The View and its co-hosts? One thing was certain. This was just the beginning of a much larger conversation. But let's take a step back, because this clash between Stephen A. Smith and Sunny Hostin wasn't some isolated moment. Far from it. Explosive debates, polarizing hosts, and headline-making controversies have practically become The View's signature. Hostin's emotional reaction to Smith's critique is just the latest entry in a long, dramatic history of heated exchanges that have kept the show in the spotlight for years. So buckle up, because this rabbit hole goes deep.
And I think it's time for Democrats to meet that moment, meet that energy. What does that look like? What does an opposition look like? Not a resistance, because a resistance is passive. An opposition is active. I want to see that. And I don't think anyone in Congress, because this is not a State of the Union, this is a joint session of Congress.
First, let's talk about The View itself. For over 2 decades, it has been the ultimate stage for fiery debates and personality clashes. What began as a platform for women to discuss hot topics has evolved into a battleground where worldviews collide in real time. But here's the thing. The show thrives on this chaos. The more heated the debates, the higher the ratings. And the producers, they know exactly what they're doing. They've assembled a panel so wildly different that conflict isn't just possible, it's inevitable. It's like tossing fire and gasoline into a room and waiting for the explosion. At the center of many of these firestorms is Sunny Hostin. Known for her sharp legal mind and unwavering progressive stance, she doesn't shy away from controversy, but with boldness comes backlash. Over the years, Hostin has been at the heart of some of the show's most intense moments. both on and off camera. And her critics, they haven't held back.
This is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. You guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia.
One of Sunny Hostin's most controversial moments on The View came when she attributed Trump's election success to non-college educated white women. The backlash was immediate. Some accused her of elitism, while others called it an uncomfortable truth. But that wasn't the only time she stirred the pot. After Kamala Harris's loss, Hostin blamed sexism and patriarchy within Latino communities, sparking yet another heated debate, even drawing frustration from her usually diplomatic co-host, Alyssa Farah Griffin. Critics have also accused Hostin of hypocrisy. While she champions equality and justice, some argue her remarks about certain groups don't always align with those values. She's quick to call out racism and sexism, but, they claim, less willing to extend the same nuance to those with opposing political views. Love her or hate her, one thing's for sure: she keeps The View as unpredictable as ever.
So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange.
But it doesn't end there. Sunny Hostin's personal life has also come under scrutiny, adding another layer of intrigue to her time on The View. One of the most talked about scandals involved her husband, Emmanuel Hostin, with rumors swirling about his alleged legal issues. While Sunny has largely stayed silent on the matter, tabloids have been relentless. For a show that prides itself on transparency and tough conversations, the lack of discussion didn't go unnoticed. Some viewers even accused her of dodging accountability, only fueling the drama further.
Now, he's just accused, and this accused in a lawsuit after some time of investigation could ultimately become a federal indictment. That's the
Sunny Hostin's public image hasn't always aligned with her on-screen persona. Reports of behind-the-scenes tensions with production staff have surfaced, though they remain unconfirmed. Whispers of diva-like behavior occasionally circulate in entertainment circles, leading some to wonder whether her fiery on-air passion is always genuine, part of a carefully crafted performance for the cameras.
look well when your name ends up with 200 people in a RICO investigation. This is the biggest investigation since Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but
At the same time, Sunny's defenders argue that she's simply a strong woman navigating an industry that often criticizes outspoken women. They highlight her impressive career as a lawyer, journalist, and social justice advocate as proof that she's more than capable of holding her ground, even when the heat is on. To many fans, she represents a voice often missing from mainstream media, unapologetic, passionate, and unafraid to speak her truth. It's this very duality, her ability to both polarize and inspire, that keeps her at the forefront of The View. But even with a loyal following, her place on the show isn't without challenges. As tensions rise, particularly with Alyssa Farah Griffin in the conservative seat, some wonder if The View is reaching a breaking point. Can the show sustain itself with so many clashing personalities, or will the constant drama lead to its downfall? For now, producers seem happy to let the sparks fly, knowing full well that chaos is exactly what keeps viewers tuning in.
Yeah. I have a totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips. I know you do.
It's like
twice
my
a
favorite.
day.
Here's all I hear from her. America's violent. America's racist. America's bad. Okay.
And Sunny isn't the only View co-host to land in hot water. The show itself has a reputation for controversy, whether intentional or not. Joy Behar has had her share of eyebrow-raising moments, like when she suggested that Caroline Leiden, the youngest White House press secretary, only got the job because of her looks. The remark sparked outrage, with critics calling it sexist, highlighting the irony of a show that champions women in leadership. Whoopi Goldberg, despite often playing moderator, isn't immune to backlash either. She's had heated exchanges, including a tense clash with Alyssa Farah Griffin over immigration, and a suspension over controversial historical remarks. But here's the thing. These controversies, as messy as they are, keep The View relevant. The show thrives on sparking debate and dominating headlines, even if it means stepping into uncomfortable territory. The real question is, at what point does the drama overshadow the substance? For all its flaws, The View provides a platform for diverse perspectives. But when the host's personal scandals make more headlines than the issues they discuss, it raises questions about where the show's priorities truly lie.
89% of the counties shifted to the right.
This latest clash between Stephen A. Smith and Sunny Hostin is yet another reminder of the fine line The View walks every day. On one hand, it fosters meaningful conversations. On the other, it's a magnet for controversy. Love it or hate, yet one thing is certain. The View knows how to keep people talking. And as long as that's the case, neither the show nor its hosts are going anywhere. As the dust settles, the big question remains. Do Stephen A. Smith's critiques hold weight, or is Sunny Hostin's defense of democratic values more compelling? How will this heated exchange shape the upcoming election and the broader political landscape? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay tuned for more debates, drama, and headlines. For watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe our channel.